Mom, where can I start?
Shannon is my mom.
By desire, she's my mom.
She's a beautiful, lost soul.
But as far as like our relationship goes,
The reason I say that is because
My mom. How do you explain my mom?
yeah, I mean, she's my mom. It's like a full-time job looking after her, seeing about her.
I'm her oldest child. Cool. My mom. My mom is also the oldest. That's something we have in common. I guess really where you started is the beginning.
Mom is kind, big-hearted, but weak.
I would say we still have like a maternal, a mother, daughter type of relationship, but kind of flipped. I feel like I find myself advising and guiding her more. Kind of been the relationship I've always had. My mom is just kind of probing her and kind of protecting her, guiding her, making sure she, you know.
Growing up, I feel like she was never there. So it made me resent her a lot. It didn't make me want to interact with her because I felt like every time I needed her, she was never there. I feel like she would shut me out.
I guess how you can always say though is that she's someone that has always been trying to figure it out, if I really can say it. If you looked at her from afar, you would say, what's going on? A woman with a lot of kids.
But, you know, as years go by, I start to understand the complications she had as a mother with children.
Well, I learned later on in life that my mom experienced a lot of traumatic events when she was young. And you could tell that of how she treated us. My mom was a mom, but my mom wasn't a mom at the same time, because my mom taught me everything not to be. I could tell from the earliest, when, my mom never came to any of our games or took us to go do things. We didn't plan trips. We went to the bus station to get to where we had to get to.
And just making sure that she's always good. Because I just know what she can fall victim to, especially being slightly gullible sometimes. She has to be taken advantage of. So I would say a responsibility is what my mom is to me.
Shoot, we had to go somewhere a lot of times. My mom just tried to go by herself, to be real. Unless she had to take us, we didn't have a babysitter. Same time too, though, I will say about my mom, I can't speak all negative because she always had a roof over her head, no matter what. That's one thing I can always tell my mom.
She's very nice, truly generous and selfless. She's very much a lover, empath, which kind of clouds her discernment a lot of the times.
I felt abandoned. I felt betrayed to the worst compatibility. Felt like she was never really there. She chose work and making money before, being there with her kids and taking care of us. She was there, but she wasn't there.
She was never shy about asking for help. And that's what bothered me. Even to this day, I'm ashamed of asking for help because how much I've just seen my mom asked. No shame in her game. If you said yes to her once, that's all it took. She would ask and ask and ask again. So that's the part that gets me, is that she did more for others than she did for us.
A lot went on in the household because she was absent. So she wasn't aware of a lot that was going on because she chose to go to work. And she was so dysfunctional that she used to pay people to babysit us, but she didn't really even know them.
We were government babies all the way through, no shame in it. Milk, apple juice out the can. So having good food, was not really, McDonald's was, dope to her.
My mom has some barriers as far as like mental health and intellectual disabilities go, to be transparent. I remember growing up always having questions as to why she wasn't like normal moms would respond or interact, communicate like normal moms. Not that she couldn't talk, she could talk her ass off, but it's like the sense, the common, like, you know, responses to things weren't there. The common awareness, the social awareness just wasn't there.
A lot of times in our life, we went without because she helped others, from family members to friends. And people took advantage of that. You could easily take advantage of my mom. She give you $100 to take her down the street. And you told her, if you worded it right, you can get it.
I didn't understand how these people kept coming in and out. They lived with us. We barely knew them. They were strangers. But my mom had such a big heart that she didn't care about that. She didn't care that she known this person for a day or a week. Come stay with me. My home is your home. Hold on. My kids don't even need their room. Shoot. Y'all can stay in their room. They'll sleep on the couch. They'll be all right. Hold on. You want in my room? Go ahead. I'm going to sleep on the couch. My mom gave her whole room up to a family. My mom gave our rooms up for their kids. We started to resent her because we didn't understand why we were being put last when we were her children. It was crazy. It seemed like she loved the strangers more than she loved us.
So my mom's friend Tanisha called one time and was like, I have no food, I need food. And I remember my mom grabbed bags and bagged up our food. Like a lot of our food. Meat, like chicken, beef, and took it over there. And I remember she took the stuff and was like, what is this? We don't eat this. And I remember I was like, my mom gave her our food. I was so pissed off because I was like, yo, what's up? Like, I could eat that chicken. Because, you know, there's sometimes that we did not eat. Like, we would eat whatever, like maybe some crackers or something, or some like cheese toast that you put in the oven. But there was times we didn't eat. Like, powdered milk was common at one point. So when I saw someone that my mom would literally bagged up food and gave to her, and she was like, what is this? And didn't want it. Oh, that pissed me off. And like, my mom was like in shock. She like sat there and was like, oh. Like, I know in her head, she was like, dang, I'm grateful, but she like didn't say it. And that's like her. She like would let people always stomp over her, and she never would speak up for herself. And that's what we came in, especially me. I always spoke up and got in trouble for that. Like, even from the earliest days. That's how some stuff happened, because I spoke up and did my thing.
I feel like my mom, her priorities have always been mixed. As her kids, I feel like she did a lot to advocate for us, but not all the ways that could have benefited us in a healthy way, I'd say. I would say like a priority for her to go out of her way to make sure we were taken care of all the times, outside of the basic needs. Like,
that was unfortunate. Some people could talk her into things that we couldn't talk her into, but that's my mom though. Like, very forgiving and the sweetest person in the world. So yeah, that's what made me who I am.
My mom is the reason who I am today. She's the reason why I became so strong and dependent on myself. And she's the reason why I will not take no for an answer. I will always keep progressing until I get to the top, until I have everything that my heart desires. Even though she had her problems, she still showed us that, you know, we have to be respectful. We have to be honest. We have to finish school. She didn't care if we went to college. Just make sure you get your diploma. She showed us that even though she had all these barriers that stopped her from being a good mother, there was good things about her too. Like, she was quiet, she was humble, she was neat, she was sweet, kind, big-hearted. She showed us how to share and care for others to her best ability. how she makes me feel now is good, because she apologized and she understood she wasn't the best mother she could be. And what else can I say? So much to say.
You only get one mom, and that's something I've always said. And when I couldn't protect my mom when I was young, now that I've been older, you just have that thing to where it's your mom and you're always going to answer and you're always going to help her. And even when you are pissed off, you feel bad because you're mad at her. And that's like my mom, because my mom does not care. I could be mean and talk bad and she'll forget about it and still come back and say, "How you doing?"
All I'm going to say is, as far as priorities, my mom had mixed priorities. I don't think her kids were ever at the forefront. I think we were very much like a chore. If that makes sense. Like, we were there because she had us, of course, and she's possessive with her kids for sure. But I think, like, beyond the baby stage, my mom didn't know what to do. Wasn't really interested in learning what to do with her kids after that, infancy, toddler stage. It's common for a lot of single moms to be super attached to their kids if they are, and, kind of hold on to that type of love you get, that unconditional love. Because your kids don't really leave you, you know what I'm saying? Like men may do. I think she very much put relationships, not just with men, but other people, as far as her familial relationships, her friendships, above the needs of her kids, even sometimes. I remember having to beg my mom for dental appointments and doctor's appointments, which is so wild.
I can say if my mom was different and I had a daddy in the household, I feel like I would have been way better off. I feel like I would have known to walk away if a man ever put his hands on me or disrespected me. I would have known that I was a queen that I am today. But because of the lack of parenting and the lack of the consistent discipline in our home, we didn't have no rule. You could tell my mom, "Oh, I'll be back at 12 in the morning. Okay, I'll see you, honey. Just make sure you text me." She was a cool mom, but I wish she would have paid attention. I wish she would have said no sometimes. But because she always said yes, and I always made the craziest decision because of her answers and her lack of parenting, I got in the most stupid, craziest situations ever, including my marriage. I married at 17 and a half years old, to a man that was supposed to be there for me while I was going through my problems as a teen adolescent, but ended up being a betrayal to me. Because not only did he show me that he didn't love me or treat me good, he used to hit on me. He used to be emotionally abusive, financially abusive, degrading, telling me I was a charity case. I don't have no family. My family is a nut house. You were never going to be nothing until I found you. The only reason why you're here is because of me. I could have left you while your mom was kicking you out and you have nowhere to go. I could have left you where you were at. Let's see how far you would have went if it wasn't for my family. Because of not having a strong mother that I was supposed to have, I let men mistreat me and abuse me and degrade me because I didn't know my worth or my value. I didn't know how to be a woman. I didn't know how to, when a man's talking, you gotta quiet down, sis. When a man's trying to talk to you, stop being so argumentative. I felt so defensive. Still to this day, I feel like the world's against me. I feel like everything someone says to me, I have to challenge it because I feel like I'm being attacked all the time. I feel like I'm always on guard. I went through so much trauma. So much trauma to the point where I'm 24 years old today and I'm just getting out of an abusive, toxic marriage because as I was watching in my household with my mom. She let men do all type of things. I can't say they were really disrespectful to her, but she was just so sweet. She let him get away with anything.
My mom frustrates me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I think she frustrates me because I see where I am in life and I look at her and I'm like, why can't you do better? That's probably something that's always pissed me off and bothered me. And it's like, I know I can't because I'm like, I came from you, so why can't you do this? Like a license, for example. I've never drove in a car with my mom where she's driving. Never. I picked my mom up and been the driver as an adult driving her, but I've never been driven by my mom. I've never could say, Mom, can you take me here? So that's what bothers me now. It's like, I want her to be better, especially when I see her with my younger siblings, because I look at it like, you had us and you know what you did wrong. We've told you what you've done wrong. You see what we're doing right. You can do right, please.
Most of my childhood, I felt abandoned, betrayed, unloved, unwanted. I didn't feel like I had a mom. Even though she was my mom, I feel like she was really never there for me. And the streets was there for me more than her.
It was always a struggle with her in like the basic necessities and her as a mother. As I watch other mothers with their kids, my friends or my cousins or whatnot, how their mothers tend to their needs to very much tell them what they need, but are consistent with telling them what they need, versus my mom just not. As long as we're fed out the way, we're she's sustaining life. That's the bare minimum she needed to do. Some days it was interested, some days she wasn't. But I understand that my mom also worked very hard all of our lives to provide as much as she could with assistance, whether that be government or other people, and really just did not have the time or the patience to show up how most kids would need to be showed up, reared as children.
I definitely watch my surroundings a lot more. I definitely watch the people I keep around, because growing up, we've seen a lot of deceiving that was going on because my mom was so naive. The person I thought I could turn to ended up turning on me. Her name was Lola Patterson. I met her when I was a little nappy-headed girl walking around the neighborhood looking for ice cream, and she was the ice cream lady. She had stopped me and said, "Your hair is so beautiful but snappy. You don't got nobody to do your hair?" I told her my mom can't do hair. She was like, "Where do you live?" I showed her where I lived. She met my mom. Next week, she was doing my hair. She was braiding it. It was so pretty. That was the first time I ever got braided. Well, that's what I can think of. At first, I thought she was a cool lady, pretty nice, caring. But then I started to see the true colors that unfolded behind the scenes. That's the feelings and the consequences of living the life I live. You don't know who to go to. You don't know who to run to. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know who to trust to speak with about the most darkest secret. Shoot, in my household, you say one thing, the whole neighborhood knows about it. My mom, she always was on the phone. Anything we ever talked to her in private about, she called her mama. She called her sister. She called her friends. That made us not want to tell her anything. And that's when things start to go downhill from there.
I'm not saying she's never not been there for myself or other people or even my other siblings. But it's very much minimal in what I got out of that relationship with mom. That makes it, as far as being on the receiving end. With your mom, I felt like you should be able to go with your mom about all these things and more, every type of question you have about life. Honestly, but I never really got that from, my mom. I felt like I was always guiding her. But she always, as a person, means well, understand that, nothing will likely change. If anything, get worse with time and age. But it wasn't until like my adulthood when I understood that there were actual limitations there, or at least had terms for it, words for it. You know what I'm saying?
Seeing my mom get sick, though, honestly humbled me. You said at the end of the day that you only get one mom again, and that was my mom. So when my mom got sick and had cancer, no matter what, I'm always gonna be answering her phone call. Like that honestly made it a full circle for me. Like, oh man,
I believe in community, and I think she definitely always had a community behind her, whether it be out of pity or love, or really folks being genuine. But she's a really beautiful person.
if you see your mom at her lowest, I don't care like what the relationship is, especially me, because I've been through some shit. So seeing my mom at the lowest that I saw her at, seeing her sick, fuck, that beat me up a lot. That was probably like the hardest point of my life. So I would say my relationship with my mom is cool. She's my mom and I love her always at the end of the day. So it's fine.
Shannon is my mom. Shannon is a big-hearted, sweet, kind, gentle, humble, the nicest person you'll ever meet. Let's say you got $20 and somebody needs 10. Give them half of that 20. Because God's going to always bless you. That's what she always taught me. You give and God will bless you 10 times more.
I mean, without my mom, there's no me. My mom, I would say it's the stuff she put us through. It's the stuff that we went through. Me and my mom and my siblings. So that's why it's so important, because like I said, the first 6 years of my life were the most important years of my life. They sculpted me. They sculpt every kid or every person in general.
Growing with her, evolving with her, changing with her, adapting to these new environments with her. I mean, outside of school, your parents typically have the most influence on you, impact on you. And I wouldn't have care for the folks that I do, or show up for the folks that I do show up for, emulate those values that she taught me as far as like the importance of family, keeping connections, even hospitality. That's the overall, if you need anything, she'll give you her last. That's just what type of heart she has.
I mean, my mom raised me. I would live with my mom until I moved out the house when I was 18 years old. So yeah, my mom's every bit of part of my story. I can't tell my story without my mom, and anybody that knows me knows that, because she's always still been there. Like, I never had an absent mom. My mom was impactful, and the fact that she gave me my values as like a person. Like, no matter what, my mom gave me values.
The morals, the values, the traditions, the habits that you want to pick up on and want to, embark on as part of your life, and the person that shapes you, every fabric that shapes you. So, I mean, it's important for a lot of reasons. She's my mom.
Treating people nice, I got that from my mom. Like, my mom, and that's one thing I could say, like, I feel now in my life, I'm more pro-Black, but growing up, my mom never ever pushed like that type of agenda. And like, I look back, my mom, like, literally when you look at somebody, my mom never was all like, she never really had that talk and said, you're a Black young man and you're gonna be this in life. I just kind of knew from other people and seeing it. My mom never was like that. My mom was just as friendly to the white person as she was to the Black person. Like, she never really saw color. So like, that scoped me, because she gave me just a lot of values, like really value people, because she did not care. As long as you was nice to her, that's all that really mattered to her. And that's like something I really picked up on her, is my mannerisms. I got that really from my mom. She,
through a lot of unlearning that I am doing as an adult, in a marriage, with my own family, I've been able to, I would say, thanks to her and all the great and bad experience I experienced in her household and her care, I think a lot of the work that I'm doing now is in the adult world or eternal work that I'm doing. I kind of still thank her in hindsight for having all the different impacts that her being my mom had on my life and all the experiences that came with that, and kind of being thankful I know how to work through the hard stuff or the difficult shit that, most folks shouldn't have to work through or will work through in some form or another.
She's the reason why I am the person who I am today. Strong-willed, consistent.
Because my mom is my mom, she automatically impactful on my life. How I choose to be intentional in different relationships. She always makes me remember the gentleness in me, the young girl that wants to be sweet and trusting and vulnerable and transparent, but also reminding me of, the inner me that I have to protect so often. But I definitely think she's impactful to my life in all the ways. How I deal with grief, my relationship with forgiveness, what I would want to be, older versions of me, I feel like she's impacted. There's that saying that underprotected children or become overprotective parents, but that's coming along as a society and understanding, even as part of the Black community, understanding what type of parenting is effective, what's not, and her really just have those different types of impacts on me to where it's making me think about all the things, all the places I would have picked and choose from of how to raise my own family and how to go on interacting with people or loving people or holding on or stuff. Though your childhood wasn't the best, could have been worse, it still is a part of who you are today as an adult. How you kind of transformed in a way where you gotta kind of pay homage to it in a bit, it's slightly. You don't, but I do.
Don't be greedy. Love and cherish everyone. And be kind to those who are not kind to you.